and let there be light. And there was light. And let me turn down all the noises and stuff. Welcome, everybody. It's Wednesday night. Welcome to the 2-hour Wednesday edition of the Paranormal Portal. I am currently coming down with a head cold. It is kicking me right in the sack. And I'm not enjoying it a whole lot, but what can I say? The minion's back at school, and he's bringing everything home. Ugh. But anyway, we'll get through it because of all the love that we share. I think that will heal me. But I'm not alone here, folks. I have with me my right-hand man, my good friend and co-host, the big toe himself, Mr. Don Longbeard. And he'll be with us shortly. Welcome, brother. How you doing?
Oh, it's hump day. Definitely is.
It is, yeah. I feel like I got a hump right in my nose, right in my nostril cavity.
In your nose holes?
Yeah, it's just, you have that pressure that you feel.
All the time.
I mean the sinus pressure,
pressure.
Not just stress. But yeah, I got it.
Under pressure.
But yeah, I got my head's just pounding like.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've taken all the legal cold remedies I can get my hands on.
And some that are almost not legal anymore.
Almost, but still.
Yeah, well, when it comes to naturopathy, it's not legal anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
No. But I hope you guys are doing great. Thank you for joining us here as we dive into 2 full hours of the Paranormal Portal. We got a lot to get to, of course, but everything good with you, Don?
All's good with me.
Well, it's good to have you here. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
And being a part of the Wednesday journey.
The
journey is now underway, and we got a lot on deck to get to. But first, we're going to be getting to the news in just a minute or so here.
Sugar says she has some honey and Jim Beam for you.
Ooh, I probably should have gotten something like that.
Oh.
A nice hot toddy would have done well.
Or a Moscow Mule. I had one for the first time the other night.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
I fell in love.
Did you?
Oh, it was good.
I tell you what, though, I like the Sprite and vodka thing a lot.
Well,
but
a Moscow Mule is just ginger beer and vodka.
Oh, well, that sounds good.
A drop of lemon wedge. Really good. It's really good if you use raspberry vodka. And it's just like crack.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's good.
Well, that sounds lovely. But
can barely hear Dawn.
Can barely hear?
I can hear myself just fine.
Who's saying can barely? Ghost Magnet?
Ghost says, yeah.
Hi, Ghost Magnet. Good to see you, brother. I don't know. Let's see. We'll just...
He apologizes.
Who, you?
You.
I do? What did I do?
She's that girl.
Oh, Ghost Magnet? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Like I said, my head is just foggy, swimmy. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot a lot of times.
Actually, it's my job. It's my fault. I apologize. I'm supposed to remind him of these things.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Well, and I've known that. I've been told that about 15 times now, and I still... It's like a dyslexia for me, so I apologize. I don't mean to misgender anybody. We love you all, no matter what gender you are. So, but we got a lot of things to go to.
Thanks. Wonder Woman says, Don's always low. He's away from the mic. Thank heavens. The mic is right here. It's not very far from me at all.
No, and your voice does carry.
It does.
Like, I got a quiet voice. I got to eat my mic.
Carry. Till Tuesday. Remember that song?
It's on my Spotify playlist.
Is it?
Yep.
Nice.
But yeah, so before we go any further, let's give special thanks where thanks is due. And I got to get my notes out here because I've got things to put together. I've been putting together some cool elements for the show, and one of which I finished and didn't get done. I forgot to port it over for tonight's show, so you'll have to see it maybe on Friday or Saturday's show. But the first and foremost, special thanks to Cryptid Coin. It's a new cryptocurrency dealing with the cryptid research and investigation. And if you are looking for an alternative investment, maybe this is one for you. I'm not an advisor. I couldn't begin to give you any kind of investment advice, believe me. but I'm just really thrilled that they're part of the family here and helping to support what we're doing here on the Paranormal Portal. So if you're looking for more information, check them out on cryptidcoin.io. And that is it's a project of Extreme Expeditions Northwest LLC. And speaking of them, they've got an upcoming conference in Spokane, Washington in June 17th.
Yeah, I got to put in for
2023. Yeah, I hope you do. And it's the Sasquatch Roundup, and it's at the Spokane Valley Event Center. And I'm going to make a graphic for the show because just verbally hearing that probably isn't sticking. But there's going to be some great speakers there. Michael Freeman, who is Paul Freeman's son, the gentleman who did the Freeman footage. And Jeff Meldrum will be there. Dr. Jeff Meldrum. Ken Gerhard will be there. Tom Seawood. And I'll be emceeing the thing. So as it stands,
can you
now.
imagine that?
Unless they can find someone with talent. But so far I'm emceeing it. So I hope you guys will check it out. June 17th at the Spokane Valley Event Center. Mark your calendars. If you're in the region, we'd love to see you come over there and say hi to both Don and myself. So that'll be coming up next year in 2023.
Yeah,
so.
No reason not to be there. You've known. You know.
And Ghost Magnet didn't even notice the gender thing.
I know.
Thank
That's
you.
my job.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'm glad I didn't.
We have such sweet people here, though.
We do. We have amazing people.
They understand that we're a bunch of idiots ourselves. So
it's okay. A couple of knuckleheads with microphones, but it's, we're just thrilled you guys like to come in and hang out with us.
Yeah, that's true.
So
otherwise, I have to wear pork chops to have dogs play with me.
Yeah, well,
feed them freaking ice cubes. I cannot keep my dog's nose out of my ice cubes.
That's not code for something, is it?
No, it's not. Jeez. I have one of those. My freezer's on the bottom, yeah.
Okay.
So I open the freezer and her nose goes right into my ice.
Boom. Yeah, just taints the whole batch, doesn't it?
It's taintable. It's taint.
Okay, just leave it there.
That's the word for the night.
All right, folks. So let's get to the news and see what the hell's going on in the paranormal news desk.
Ain't nothing like it.
Jesus, we're just going to go down from here, isn't it? All right, let's get to the news.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Most trusted news.
Tain't no damn way.
Tain't gonna mean a damn thing. All right, since we're all stuck on taints now, I don't even want just.
It's a ghost. It's a southern term for a ghost.
Yeah, no, that's a haint.
That's what I said.
You said a taint.
Oh, dang it.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure I'll pay for that later. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to the news. This is the Paranormal Portal News Desk. As always, we lit off every live show with some news, and hopefully I've curated several good examples of information for you so that you leave here a little more informed than how you came in. Or at least a little more disgusted or whatever.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the first article up for bat here on the Paranormal Portal News Desk is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. Please support their site, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great site. They've got a lot of fantastic stuff going on over there, including a weird news book you can buy now. So if you like the news we cover on the show, this is a whole compendium of their weird news by TK Randall. So definitely support what they're doing over there. It's a brilliant site. Just love it. So, remains of real-life 3-meter tall thunderbird found in Australia.
Wow.
How's about that? Wow.
Is that all that remains?
I guess that's the remains.
Wow.
Paleontologists have unearthed what is thought to be the leg bones of the largest species of bird ever to live. While today the ostrich is the largest bird to walk the earth, in the distant past, there existed avian behemoths closer in size to large theropod dinosaurs than to anything alive today. Now paleontologists working in Australia have discovered what is thought to be the fossil remains of the largest bird that ever existed, a creature known as...
A taintosaur.
No, that ain't what they're saying, Don. Stearton's thunderbird, or Dromormis steartoni. The prehistoric beast, which roamed the earth millions of years ago, was like an ostrich on steroids, standing at a height of 3 meters and weighing in at a staggering 500 kilograms. Basically, or bizarrely rather, its closest living ancestor today are ducks and chickens.
Wow.
Man, did chickens draw the short straw. No, there used to be these grand birds and possibly related to like Tyrannosaurus, and now they're like in a bucket.
A KFC.
Yeah, now they're just America's favorite fast food and Popeyes. And yeah. It says this latest fossil discovery, which was unearthed in the Alcuta Reserve northeast of Alice Springs, will hopefully help experts learn more about the true size of these prehistoric giants. It is even possible that more of the skeleton is buried nearby, just waiting to be found. We only got the lower legs because that's as far as we dug. Paleontologist Adam Yates told the Science Alert.
Is it upside down in the dirt?
Huh?
We only got the legs because that's as far down as we dug?
I don't know. Maybe
maybe
it died on his back and the legs are kind of poking up or something. I don't know. And there's every expectation that a large part of the rest of the skeleton, if not the entire skeleton, might be lying in the next dig as we dig further into the bank that the legs come from. Wow, there you go. No reason to give up there. There's a picture of the legs for those of you interested in seeing what those bones would have. That would have been a hell of a drumstick. Jeez.
It'd
be like the Flintstones.
It'd be like, I was going to say a brontosaurus rib. Yeah, a brontosaurus rib.
Yeah, you need to pedal or push your car up there and grab some drumsticks.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, so there you go, folks. The might have been a thunder. I don't believe it sounds like it was a flightless bird, though, not necessarily the thunderbird as used in the headline. Of course, thunderbirds are an ongoing phenomenon that people cite.
I wonder if they're just saying that because it was a large
bird. Yeah, I'm sure they are.
It was like it created thunder as it ran. It's
the thunder lizards.
Yeah. Thunder.
Thundercats. Sorry, I don't know. Oh God!
What?
Nothing. Wow. I'm not even gonna give that any more attention. All right. So next up on the news is another fine article from unexplained-mysteries.com, and this one is, let me just close the embedded ads because they got to make money too. But it says fewer people are skeptical of alien visitation now than in the 1990s. You damn right.
Well, yeah.
Because
of Tom Ding Dong.
Well, of course, the Tic Tac, I think, is probably the biggest swear.
Yeah, that's
those
true.
Tic Tac footages from the Navy. That's swayed a whole hell of a lot of opinion, and it also changed the tone of the discussion from something that was more mocking to at least something where they're giving it some credibility now.
Right.
It says a new YouGov poll has indicated that more people now believe in UFOs may be extraterrestrial in origin. The survey, which asked a random selection of U.S. population about their views on UFOs and extraterrestrial life, provided an interesting insight into opinions on the phenomena and indicated a significant increase in the level of belief in alien life since 1990s. When asked, do you believe that UFOs, unidentified, I can't believe they actually spelled it out, unidentified flying objects, are probably alien ship or alien life forms, or that they have some natural scientific explanation, the results were almost a three-way tie, with 34% saying aliens, 34% saying don't know, and 32% saying that UFOs had a natural explanation. Swamp gas and Uranus. That's what it is.
Ain't no way that happens.
Swamp gas on your taint.
Oh, my.
When the same question was posed in 1996, only 20% said aliens, 29% said don't know, and a whopping 51% believed that there was a natural explanation.
Because methane.
Oh, I thought you were going to say meth and stop there.
Yeah, that might be it too.
It could just be the meth epidemic. Everybody believes in aliens now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go any further with that. Another poll conducted at the time, which asked whether we were more likely to make contact with intelligent aliens in the next 50 years, found that only 4% had said yes, while the same question posed in 2022 yielded a result of 13% for yes. That's a big sway, though, really, in just a number of years. I mean, the 90s sounds like it was a long time ago, but God.
I remember them very well.
I know, it seems like yesterday.
I remember watching, as a matter of fact, bringing it up, The X-Files.
Right.
In the 90s.
In the 90s, yep.
So
I did too. It was my Friday night religion.
There you go.
For those who voted no, the figure had reduced from 69% to 39%. For the survey, YouGov also asked people who had personally witnessed a UFO whether they believed it was alien in origin or something with a conventional explanation. 34% believed that it was aliens, while 43% thought it was natural phenomena. The remaining 23%, meanwhile, simply stated they weren't sure one way or the other. Well, that's probably the safest answer, but...
Well, yeah.
I mean,
that way you don't get your taint probed.
Jesus. You're just going to ride that all the way to town, aren't you?
You know? It ain't no reason to stop.
Why would you? Why would you give that up? That there's comedy gold. There you go. More people believe in it, folks. Don't make a poop joke here. I just know how your head works. It's a scary place in there. It's a scary, scary place, Don.
It's not my fault.
I know.
I am what I am.
You are the sum of your parts.
Some of my parts are quite questionable. Starting at the taint.
Yeah, there's a lot of you tainted. All right. Let's go to the next one on unexplainedmysteries.com. And this is ancient extinct miracle plant may have been rediscovered in Turkey. I don't know what this is all about, but I thought it was a cool headline. Found in Turkey, not in Turkey, the country. A plant once known as Sylphion may still be around today despite disappearing 2,000 years ago.
Oh, wow.
This highly valued yellow-flowered plant has appeared in numerous texts from ancient Rome, Greece, and Egypt, and once grew primarily in the ancient city of Cyrene in what is now Libya. It was considered so valuable, in fact, that even the city's coinage depicted images of it. Sylphion was used for many things, including a treatment for various ailments and diseases, as an aphrodisiac, as a perfume, as a seasoning for food, and even a contraceptive. And why did it go extinct? What is that seasoning salt they just put? I put that on everything.
That on everything.
This is on everything too. Sylphion. Eventually, though, like all things taken from nature in excess, the plant disappeared, with the Roman Emperor Nero himself allegedly consuming the last remaining supply.
Bastard!
Some 2,000 years
That guy
ago.
was a real bastard. Now he's even more of a.
Yeah, because he took all the Sylphion pig.
He's so silky.
Yeah. For decades, modern-day researchers have attempted to track down a living specimen to the plant to no avail, but now a researcher from Istanbul University believes that he may have made a breakthrough after examining a rather familiar plant found high up in the mountains. Known as Ferula drudeana, I don't know. This particular plant appears to be so similar to ancient Sylphion that it might actually be Sylphion, located in plain sight all along, right under the researchers' noses. Furthermore, the evidence suggests that the locations in Turkey at which the plant has been found happen to correspond to places where the ancient Greeks once settled. So, while we don't currently know for absolute certain that Ferula drudeana is ancient Sylphion, right now it's looking like an extremely promising candidate. There it is.
Wow.
I think I got those growing out my alley here. I mean, really, it looks like something that I pulled up by the weeds out there. Wow.
I'm trying to remember the name of that plant. It's actually medicinal. The one you're talking about is actually medicinal as well.
Oh, okay.
I have to remember the name of it.
Oh.
If Farm was here, he could help. Well, Farm's here, but he's
Farm's
busy
here.
eating.
He's busy eating? Okay. Well, Farm, if you got any input on that, we'd appreciate it. So, all right. That's that one.
Paisley just told me what the heck that was just the other day.
I tell you. Can't tell you nothing. All right, next up on the news is this article from unexplained-mysteries.com as well. And this one is, obviously, UFO hunter describes childhood encounter with a lizard-like alien.
Oh, boy.
Ooh. This says, how long is this one? No, this is fine. Ben Walgate has spoken out about a childhood experience that developed into a lifelong passion for UFOs. The 35-year-old is now an avid UFO investigator and has visited locations across the UK in search of evidence of extraterrestrial visitation. Was inspired to pursue his passion for the subject following an experience he had as a young child. The encounter happened in North Yorkshire while returning from Cub Scout camping trip. The minibus had stopped for a short time to let everyone get off and stretch their legs.
Because it smelled taintful.
Upon disembarking, Walgate wandered around for a time before making his way into some nearby woods where he spotted a derelict building nestled among the trees.
His name's Walgate?
Oh, I guess so.
All right.
Curious to see what was inside, he ventured over for a closer look, and what he saw there was beyond explanation. A gangled green alien creature, approximately 6 feet tall with oversized limbs and disproportionately tiny head. Mm-hmm. This thing was out of the ordinary. It looked at me. I looked at this thing. He told the mirror it was definitely not of this earth. It was such a weird vibe. Its head, in proportion to its body, was tiny. It's not like the stereotypical alien with the gray skin and the long, big black eyes. This thing was more lizard, and I'm not saying it had scales, but it was snake-like. It was just otherworldly. It shouldn't have been walking on 2 feet. In later years, he attempted to locate the precise spot where he had seen the creature, but was never able to pinpoint exactly where it was. He's since undertaken numerous expeditions to local UFO hotspots, such as the North Yorkshire Moors, in the hope of finding something that might help to explain what he saw that day. If there are intelligent beings out there, and I'm not saying there are, but it's highly likely there are, if they are coming here for some reconnaissance or research, it wouldn't be difficult in a place like North Yorkshire Moors to stay hidden, he said. Well, there you go.
Wow.
An early experience spawned a lifelong quest, Don.
I can imagine.
Yeah. That'll shape your mind. Yeah. Cool. Hope he finds them.
It may taint your mind, too.
Ooh. All right. Let's go to the next one. And this is also from Unexplained Mysteries. And this is a bizarre video shows cops shooting at goblin-like Pombero in Paraguay. Well, we'll have to check this one out. The strange clip shows a police officer firing his gun at an unidentified creature that had broken into a building. According to a translation of the local media report, the incident, which occurred on September 16th, saw police officers being called out to attend a disturbance in the Ita Enramada area of Paraguay's capital city of Asuncion. Footage recorded of the event shows cops approaching a building while shouting at an unidentified perpetrator who can be seen moving around inside. What's strange about the clip is the way that the mysterious figure seems to slide down onto the floor and scuttle away in one fluid movement. One of the cops even fires his weapon, though it's unclear if he was actually hit anything. The footage quickly sparked fears that there was a Pombero on the loose, a type of mythological creature of local legend said to be notorious for capturing young women in the dead of night. It's often depicted as a small goblin-like creature, a bit like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Skeptics, on the other hand, argue that the creature in the clip may have simply been a monkey that had managed to break into the building, which might also explain why the cop was so quick to shoot. Whatever the case, it's certainly an interesting piece of footage. What, you want to check it out?
Well, of course I do.
Well, let's check it out, folks, because I think, this is the news after all. And we got to be informed, so let's have a look. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're like driving away like,
we're out of here.
Yeah. Yikes. He's running around back now to see if it's coming out. Well, there you have it, folks. Don't know what he shot at, but that was a weird creature, weird figure. Anyway, I guess we could just go to that part where it kind of gets down. Kind of comes down here. Oh,
Way,
too far. There it comes. Kind of came down and went down like that. Let's check that out again. Huh.
That's not a monkey.
You don't think so?
No, it's too. I don't know. It's not a monkey.
Where is it again? Let me just see. Is that it? There. I was going to go frame by frame here. Okay, so here it is. Let's just go frame by frame here and see what we can see. And going frame by frame, it's kind of right. You're kind of looking right here.
Yeah, and right next to him is the shadow of the cop. So look at the size of that. That's not a monkey.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. Let's keep going. Kind of going down. Now, it could be on something. But it still looks very humanoid.
It looks like he's got knees.
Yeah, it does. And then going down. And he does almost seem to melt, doesn't he?
Yeah. That's, shadows don't do that.
Yeah, it's kind of scooting along the floor. And the cop is coming up. And he's like, nope, what are you? He comes up and cop's got kind of a Anubis head too, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's just his hand.
Oh. It's like, even the cop looks like a jackal. What the hell's going on down there? And
Did you say a jackal?
yeah,
Like
jackal. Anubis,
Oh, jackal.
Yeah. What'd you think I said?
A jackal.
No, I didn't call it a jackal. No. Yeah, that's strange. Whatever it is, folks, I don't know. It's obviously leaves a lot to be explained, but it is strange. Whatever the hell that thing is. It is huge. That's a good point.
Yeah, shadow person, yeah.
Yep.
That would make more sense. But
Could be. It could be a cryptid of some kind.
Barrow.
Could be just a burglar. Maybe he just got down and scuttled because he saw it was a cop. Who knows? But scary stuff. I don't know, Don. I just work here.
Pombero is a fey spirit or spirit of Guarani mythology.
Guarani?
This myth is typical of culture of Paraguay and the North Argentine littoral. Okay. Yeah, they don't. Without just reading the blurbs on top aren't really.
Not really descriptive.
Yeah. The man of the night is the way it's translated.
Oh, okay. But it's more of a...
Señor de la Noche.
De la Noche. Man of the night.
Correct.
Sure. All right. So we don't know what it is, but you saw it here maybe first. So now you know. You're welcome. Okay, next one up. Unexplained-mysteries.com.
Chained to Goblin either. Thank you, Farm.
Mystery of Woodland Trail Camera Ghost Girl is finally solved. And this is one that, I don't know if we ever covered it on the Trail Cam Terrors, but it was probably one that we did. This is one of those weird ones that just kind of appeared and didn't seem to have a lot of explanation, but let's see what it says. A camera set up in a remote area of woodland in upstate New York had picked up something unexpected. When the new landowners of an area of woodland in Washington County decided to repurpose it as a hunting area, they first set up a trail camera to make sure that nobody else was using it.
Well, looks like somebody's.
Yeah, much to their surprise, the camera had soon picked up the image of a ghostly, semi-transparent young girl in an area that should have been otherwise deserted. I guess maybe transparent. I don't know. Just pale. Concerned, they showed the image to Cambridge Police Chief George Bell. I've lived here all my life, and I've never heard of a ghost running around the woods, he said. There is some creepy stuff in this town, but there has to be an explanation. Keen to find an answer to the mystery, the landowners decided to release the photograph to the public to see if anyone recognized the girl or could otherwise shed some light on the mystery. While many came forward to suggest that the image was that of a ghostly apparition, the truth of the matter would finally reveal itself a few weeks later. Far from being a ghost, the girl was in fact the granddaughter of a local businessman who had been walking through the woods with her at the time. He'd been completely oblivious to the whole thing until somebody had shown him the image. Some people were really hoping this was a ghost story, he said. The case just goes to show how easily something as simple as a photograph of a girl in the woods can be mistaken for evidence of the paranormal.
She has nothing below the knee. She has, missing 1 foot.
I don't know. It's kind of bent, like she's in stride. And it could be just a cheap camera that, blurs the image for motion.
Yeah, but see, that other leg is just kind of missing.
Yeah, this
It's
one.
a
But
foot. No, the other one.
This one? It's right here.
No, that's just a foot.
But this is like her
But you can
leg.
see, right through her.
It does kind of look like you could see right through her. You're right. I don't know what she's wearing, but anyway, it does seem to blend in with the background. But it could be just some leggings or something. I don't know.
Sure, yeah. Leggings,
I mean, could be.
That's
Obviously, it's somebody's grandkid.
That's
so.
true. Obviously.
But I mean, if he came forward to say, "Look, that's my granddaughter," then chances are he's probably
Pics or it didn't happen.
Yeah, even with pics, it might not have happened.
That's true.
At least not the way some people would like to
Here
think.
we have a picture that have been able to fake since the early, 1800s.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of true.
I mean, they also, posed with dead people back then, too.
Yeah, that was really, really curious.
It's
Post-mortem photography. Yeah.
Ain't no way you'd find me doing it.
Nope. But there you go. It's been solved. It's not a ghost girl. It's just a girl walking out apparently in the darkness with her grandfather, which is a little weird, but I don't know. Different strokes for different folks. Girl. Hey. Enough of that. Okay, so I think, let's see, what time is it now? 7:34. Yeah, I think we'll probably stop here, and I'll just continue the news on Friday. So I guess that's going to wrap it up for the news, folks.
The news is over. Go away.
Hopefully you've learned something you didn't know before you came in here.
TAINT.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's get back to the rest of the show. The most trusted news. The most. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the rest of the program. This is where we start after the news. Hope you guys enjoyed the news. It's kind of interesting, all the weirdness and strangeness and stuff, but it is kind of cool when some of the answers come in for old mysteries like that trail cam photo that's been around forever. I don't know why it took till just now, but I remember seeing that at least a year or so ago. So I guess maybe it didn't get filtered around and or solved until just recently. But anyway, we gave you the answer. Once we got the answer, we gave it to you. So we are going to get into the next phase of our program here. The next phase is one that we've kind of started near. Been in before, 10 and less. All love.
Yeah.
All love. All love to you too.
All love.
But I do want to say that we have a Discord community if you're not familiar with it. And I don't know if Sheldon's here, but
I haven't seen him.
He usually posts a link. Let me see if I can do this.
Here, I can do it.
Can you?
Yeah, I know how to do this stuff.
Oh, okay.
Question of the week, Discord channel, copy, and paste.
Oh,
gosh.
What I mean, inviting people to Discord is what I meant.
I should be able to do that too. But
yeah, I'm gonna look. I haven't done it for a long time, but I think this is right. Invite people.
Invite people inactive.
Let's see. It's to send server invites link to a friend. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Are you reading the tutorial?
No, I'm looking at the menu. I've done it before, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So anyway, the point being is that we've started this part of our Discord community called Questions of the Week. And basically they are questions that are going to be asked prior to every live show here on YouTube, and it gives you the opportunity to weigh in on these. And there'll be of varying subjects, varying phenomena, and just to see what you guys think. And there's no wrong answers, obviously, because none of us know anything really, but we're just seeing what you guys think about these different phenomena and different points about the paranormal. And tonight's question is no different. Right, Don?
Right, Brent.
So now we're going to get to the Discord question of the week, and I put that little thing on there, and it's on screen. It says "Questions of the Week?" ? Dun dun dun. Look at that. That pretty?
Nice. That's nice.
I'm going to do an animated one eventually, but I got to this today. So, Don, do you want to read the question?
Sure. I just happen to be here. Question of the week. Discoveries have been made, such as finding an iron hammer embedded in 300 million year old stone and screws embedded in coal, and spark plugs embedded in coal, and all kinds of other things, which seems to suggest that our history is not as complete as we believe. Do these discoveries suggest that human civilization has been around longer than it's currently believed, or was there a prior advanced civilization that existed before us, or is this some kind of grand hoax?
What do you believe?
What do you believe? So it's talking about artifacts out of place artifacts, OOPArts. And it's the phenomena about finding the hammer mentioned is the London hammer. It's one I've been talking about for years because it just blew me away when I found this. And basically it looks like a blacksmith's hammer that's embedded in 300 million year old rock. So old, in fact, that the wood handle is both turning to coal and is petrified at this, at different junctures of it. And so how did that get there? How do you explain that? Well, I've never heard that it's been debunked, so it is an ongoing curiosity for me. But there's more examples of that. As Don was suggesting, there's a spark plug looking thing found in coal. There's been metal screws found in rock. There are machined aluminum parts found among mastodons,
Right.
skeletons.
Supposedly cell phones found in rock formations and things
Yeah,
like that.
like a
Yeah.
Nokia or something like that. Yeah, and some of them may very well be hoaxy and scammy. It's anybody's guess. But does it seem to suggest maybe it's a time anomaly too? I didn't even think about that when we were writing it. That maybe somehow these things slipped in time to a different time of our world. But do you think that suggests that our history is much longer than we know, or is it somebody else's history? That we just ended up supplanting with our rise on the face of the earth, or is it just all elaborate hoaxes? So that's the questions, and what are some of the answers, Don?
Some of the answers would be, wow. Fourth Color says, I'm no expert, but if I were to guess based on artifacts found that don't fit conventional timelines of human history, I'd say we've been around much longer than modern science will recognize, and I think unconventional artifacts are ignored or even hidden if they don't fall in line with what science says our history is. I also think the powers that be have purposely lied and misguided us about our human history using institutions like the Smithsonian. Yes, yes. I have feelings in that way as well. Lily Pond says, ditto to Fourth Color. Look at the pyramids, dating discrepancies, airplanes, and helicopters inscribed inside ancient buildings. Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, etc. Okay. Those are kind of interesting too. But there have been they have also found that some of these frescoes that we find, like the astronaut, there was a very famous astronaut found on like the Vatican building or something.
Yeah.
That was actually a hoax after a remodel that somebody had thought that would be funny to do, and they put that in there. So that's not to say that they're not there. But when you're talking about ancient buildings and looking at like Machu Picchu and the ancient South American ruins, they have those people in spaceships.
Yes,
They do.
Yeah.
It's there. Maggie has a good one, and I like this one as well. I definitely don't think the items recovered are hoaxes. I started looking up the Aboriginal history via anthropology documents. Most information regarding sophistication of the First Nations people via the use of technology have been omitted from the history books. And she's talking about the Australian Aboriginals, I believe. This is our recent history, so I can easily consider any other artifact and evidence that could be locked away or admitted to. The Rio Tinto mining company destroyed an estimated 46,000-year-old Aboriginal caves in Western Australia before anyone had a chance to accurately document what was there. It was deemed a place of staggering artifacts by Michael Slack, archaeologist. It would be the earliest known site of a grindstone technology. I can't help but wonder what that and the evidence is lost. What that and the evidence is now lost. Okay.
Yeah.
Many everyday people seem to get frustrated / upset about that the Aboriginal timeline keeps changing without stopping to consider that it changes because new information comes to light. Very true. As a matter of fact, she goes on to say here, but they are currently one of the oldest cultures, modern cultures, in our modern times. And she says currently First Nations people have been here for at least 60,000 years. They were one of the oldest cultures. If many people can't comprehend this, perhaps it's too difficult to introduce a huge change in regards to timelines of humanity in general. I don't know. She also recalls Robert Schoch's theory the Sphinx was eroded by water. Many people will say that he's using pseudoscience. I can't pretend to know much about geology, archaeology, and anthropology to know for myself, but I tend to think there's no smoke without fire, and there seems to be quite a bit of smoke out there on different continents regarding timelines of human civilization. Some professionals come forward on retirement and or have been professionally blacklisted, and their discoveries and life's work have vanished from the fields in particular. For me, it begs the question why. The erosion on the Sphinx. The Sphinx has been there longer than 2,000 or 3,000 years. It's probably been there since before the last ice age, and that it would explain. See, because you got to remember, it used to be that area used to be called the Fertile Crescent. Well, north actually more in. I can't, but where Babylonia used to be, so you've got Africa down here, and then you've got, anyhow. So the Fertile Crescent used to be fertile, meaning that it was actually green, and you can actually grow things there. That's the cradle of civilization, supposedly.
Okay.
So that's where, supposedly we learn to farm, and we learn to, come together as a community and become a civilization, and gather that, begin to put the culture together. So yeah, absolutely, it's a lot older than what they say they are. I know how to say it. Göbekli Tepe has been dated back even farther than 10,000 years. They're pushing it back to 13 now. We just talked to Jim Vieira, who just talked to us about the same thing, a similar thing, but connected in the same ways. So yeah, our civilization, if we're not if we are the most modern, obviously, but if we're not the oldest, there's probably something farther back that we can't fathom. Yeah. So, think about Atlantis. Mm-hmm. Nobody really knows.
Right.
But, Plato, was it Plato?
Yep.
But that was 400 years after Atlantis had supposedly disappeared already. Mm. Who knows? But, if you read some books every now and then, you'd find out that there was a man, a fish man, in a fish cape. Not a cape, but
robe.
A robe. A fish-scaled robe. And another man, together they came, and another man with a long black beard wearing white robes into the South American culture at that time, way back when.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, Jim Vieira had some great points about that, and that's being repeated in many cultures.
Right.
Seeing these like almost fish people or something, that were at least adorning themselves with ornamental things that look like fish scales. And some were depicted with tails and stuff. And so very curious, whatever the case. But yeah, and I think those are all great points. And I really think that probably, I don't know, we probably hit these periods of reboots.
Right.
Is what I kind of think. And it's like society gets to a certain point, reboot.
Right.
Then society raises from the ashes and gets to a certain point,
like
reboot.
A phoenix from the ashes.
Right. I mean, again. There just seems to be some methodology to that. I don't know what that means necessarily. Does that mean that somebody's rebooting us or what? And certainly our religions hold stories of being rebooted as well, the flood stories and so on and so forth. Those seem to be what a reboot would be. It'd be the major floods would wipe out things, and whatever rises from that then becomes the next incarnation of civilization. So I don't know. It's curious stuff though. But
Android put a lot of thoughts into this too, real quick. But just it says, millions of years. I think it's more likely a different intelligent species either lived here before and became extinct, yes, or left for another planet, kind of like what Mars did.
Yeah.
That could also explain Manhattan Hammer. No, it's Paris. Was it in Manhattan or Paris?
What? The London Hammer.
The London Hammer.
The London Hammer.
The London Hammer, yes. Yeah. London, Texas. So it doesn't have to be humans. Correct. It doesn't have to be humans.
Sure.
Or, he says, either that or carbon dating is just completely inaccurate once getting to the million years territory. Yeah, the farther back you go, the more you have to give some days I just can't think.
It's okay. It's okay.
Error, you have to give it more room for error.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. Maybe carbon changes in a fossil changed at different rates millions of years ago. Yeah, that's actually a good point, because if you think about it, millions of years ago we used to have more oxygen in the air, and that's why we had megafauna and megaflora and things like that, because there was more oxygen. And because of the waning of the amounts of oxygen could be potentially impactful on our size and stature and the stature of other species, whether it be flora or fauna. I mean, think about the giant sequoias. You don't see them anymore. We cut them all down to make buildings and houses and stuff, but they can't get that big anymore. They just can't get that big anymore. It doesn't work. There are 50, 60, 70-year-old trees out there that just are nowhere near what they could have been before. Anyhow, soapbox, sorry.
We're shrinking. Everything's shrinking except us.
The Great American Shrink Ray.
Yep. Yeah. So thank you to everybody who weighed in on all of this stuff. I just think, the other alternative is it a time slip, like I mentioned before? And maybe it is. Maybe some of the stuff just fell into some kind of portal and ended up like in a 300 million year old stone or went back in time. Certainly people have experienced going into different time or different places. They experience portals. So is that some possibility? Maybe. I don't know. I think this stuff is fascinating because, again, it demonstrates we got a lot to learn, no matter what. So
see, but the problem is it seems like the more we learn, the stupider we get, because we forget about things like history.
Well,
and I wonder if that's.
And history is written by the winners of so there's that too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, apparently, if these people either moved off the earth or went extinct, it's probably due to their knowledge of technology and things like that.
Sure. Or maybe they did. Maybe they did decide to go check out what was out there.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe the people that they stayed behind didn't make it, and that's why we have those elongated skulls. And
flew us a bird and dropped a bomb. See ya.
Yeah, exactly. But like the elongated skull people in Peru or whatever. Right. I can't remember the names now. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of drawing a blank too, but I got a cold head, so everything's foggy. But anyway, there's no wrong answers, and thank you to everybody that participated in these, because I just love hearing what you guys think about this stuff, because you're absolutely right. I mean, everything you guys have said is perfectly valid and
absolutely
great points. So thank you.
Prove me wrong on any one of them.
Yeah, and I can't, and nor would I. I think that you guys, Al brought up wonderful things.
Absolutely.
Wonderful parts. So that has been tonight's question of the week. We will repeat that again on Friday and Saturday night. So if you're not already involved in the Discord, please get involved in Discord, and we will happily await your presence there. It's quite a big community, and it's getting bigger all the time. We've got, 120 or so people over there.
I don't know how to tell that.
There's 111 plus 12.
Well, 111 plus 12. Yeah, okay, 123, yeah.
Yeah, 123 people over there in our Discord community, and we'd love to see it grow. So if you're not already over there, please get over there. It's Paranormal Portal on Discord. So, but thank you all for taking part of that discussion. That's awesome. Now, let me see where the hell it is. There it is. Let me turn back on this. All right, there we go. We're going to get to some other paranormal goodness that we've got lying up on deck here. And this is an article that we started getting into last two shows. Oh, I can't see it. I got stuff in the way. There we go. Got to get my little window to see through there. There we go. We're going to go through an article now that we've been working through. It's from techietwist.com. This is not necessarily a paranormal site, but they did one of those Reddit farms and got some pretty great points and weirdness.
There it is. I found the invite buttons.
Oh, did you? Okay, yep. Please. Yeah.
There, it's in there now.
All right, thank you, Don. So there's the Discord address if you want to join. We'd love to see you over there. But techietwist.com, and this is Reddit users shared unexplained things that happened to them. It says is. What that happened to them is.
Okay.
All right, well, it's not the best language. But anyway, number 23 is where we left off. And
this got to be best language. Just got to be there.
Yep, an unexpected hitchhiker. Was cruising a back road on the way to work when I topped a hill and there was a cat in the center of the road. I didn't have time to react and tried to center the cat between the tires, and I heard a loud thump as I went over it and winced. No cat in the rear view, which I pondered the rest of the drive. When I got out of my truck, I heard a meow.
Huh.
I searched all over, and eventually I found the cat safe and sound, sitting in the spare tire underneath my truck bed. He hung in there for over 20 miles. I had that cat for almost 9 years. Rip Mr. Furley.
Mr. Furley.
You know, that's a neat thing. And I think it sounds like it's mundane, but I don't know. Maybe that cat was supposed to be in this guy's life. And I think sometimes these animals that come into our lives serve a much bigger purpose than what we think, you know, that they're there, whether for energetic reasons or just as, you know, companionship or whatever. Like, maybe these people like this guy really needed that in his life.
Right. Yeah.
And boom, there it was, like a gift.
A gift from the heavens.
Right, exactly. I mean, because what are the odds? He's traveling down a road, probably 50 plus miles an hour, and a cat just jumped onto his spare tire and rode it out? Really? I mean, that can't be possible. So that does seem supernatural to me.
Well, it's certainly not normal.
It's paranormal.
It just wanted a ride.
Number 24, prison poltergeists.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. I was deployed to Iraq, and we stayed in a former prison in Baghdad. During the night, we would see and hear strange things.
No way.
The base at this time only had soldiers, but we would hear children playing from inside the prison. One day we decided to dig deeper to see where the kids were, and we finally found where the noise was coming from, and we found a room with the ceiling caved in. We didn't find any kids, but found kids' books, toys, and kids' clothes. Everything looked like it wasn't moved in weeks. We continued to hear kids in the year that we spent there.
Yeah, that's stone tape.
Yeah, it must be. Must be. Doesn't sound like it interacted with them necessarily, but it was just a recording that played back.
Right. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Number 25, the problem with cameras.
They're everywhere.
My husband had an overnight job. One night, he left home at around 8:15 p.m. Around 11, I hear keys in our back door and the usual sounds that my husband makes when he comes home. Well, I crept out to the kitchen to make sure it was him, and it was.
Uh-oh.
He told me he needed to grab his knee compression sleeve. In the morning when he got home, I made a comment about him forgetting his knee sleeve. He was genuinely confused. Our daughter confirmed everything I said, but he was still acting confused. I pulled up our security motion camera on my phone, but there was no footage of him coming home after he left. My daughter and I both heard him and saw him, and I even touched him, but he was never home during that time.
Ooh, getting cold kisses from the hubby, huh? That ain't the hubby.
It's the doppel hubby.
It's the hubby. Oh,
the hubby ganger.
It's the haint.
Yeah, might be. Number 26, dude, that's scary. Around 1996, I borrowed a new digital camera from my work and brought it to band practice at our bassist's house. I took a bunch of band pics and excited about the new technology. We loaded the photos onto his computer to get a good laugh at our drunken foolishness. In one particular shot of the bassist, we were stunned to see something bizarre. The TV screen behind him in the photo was black, except for white, cloudy ghost writing that said, "Things hurt."
Wow.
We had no explanation for this. My friend printed the photo, and I still have a copy to this day.
Wow, things hurt, huh?
I guess so. My feelings. Number 27, watch out for dogs in trees. I guess.
Okay.
Gotta watch out for them now too, Don. Like it starts out like 15 years ago.
Like,
Wow. Like really, man. Like 15 years ago, we still lived with my mom. We had a big backyard and had 2 dogs. One night, I heard the dogs running back and forth, not barking, but they were whimpering, like scared or something. And when I went out to see, I saw another white dog, like a big white husky dog, and it looked at me with piercing red eyes. Oh, that's a bad sign. Then turned around and climbed a freaking tree and jumped to the backyard next door. To this day, I know for sure I wasn't high and still don't know what that was.
But that implies that she has been high before.
Yeah, I mean...
Which, you know, she may be misremembering.
Could Could be legitimate though.
Yeah.
Could be some kind of hellhound.
We've had people talk on our show and talked about, the dog people or wolf people as opposed to the dog soldiers.
Sure.
And the dog men. So the wolf people supposedly aren't that big of a deal.
Well, this is a big white husky dog.
Well,
But, maybe she's not really good at identifying breeds either.
Well, yeah.
That's true.
The
But
dog's a dog.
and once it has red eyes,
Yeah, that's pretty much all you shut down.
Yeah, yep, I'm shutting down. That's crazy. Whatever it is, weird. Not normal. Number 29, a call about a feline. One of my cats had been missing for a few weeks, and I'd given her up as gone. While on the phone with a friend 100 miles away, he interrupts himself from talking about work and says with a strange urgency, "Doug, open your front door. Your cat is sitting on the porch waiting to come in." And of course, upon opening the door, I find her sitting there. We were both beyond blown away. Between sobs of joy, I asked, "How did you know?" And he said, "I don't know, man. It was really weird." Oh, that's wild.
Wow.
You got a message.
You got to download. Is Nate Rudd here? Hi, Nate.
Hey,
How
Nate.
the heck are you?
Good to see you. Number 30, ghost baby.
It's
It's a ghost baby.
in the back seat.
On a cold days inside your car and you breathe on the window and draw on the glass? Well, I got in my car, and as I look at the windshield, I see a few small baby hands. I thought it was strange someone would let a baby play on my car's windshield. I had an urge to touch the baby prints, and as I touched it, I wiped away the handprints. The handprints were made from inside of the locked car.
Duh.
This is probably the strangest, creepy, unexplained phenomena that's ever happened to me. Yeah, you don't often expect to see baby handprints inside your locked car.
Not really.
No, especially if you don't have a baby. That's not normal.
Nope.
Number 28, Mom, is that you? I was probably about 16 to 17 and had just gotten home from school. My brother was in the kitchen making a ruckus, so I started that way. And as I passed by his bedroom, I saw my mom in there sitting on his bed with the lights off. I stopped and stood in the doorway and asked what she was doing. She said really slowly, "Just sitting. Come here. I need to talk to you." I took about a half step into the room when I heard my mom yelling for me in the kitchen.
From the kitchen.
And then saw her setting the table. I looked back to the bedroom and there was nothing there. I don't think I ever went back into that room by myself again, even 10 years later.
Yeah, if she would have went in there, she wouldn't have been in there any longer either.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Hey, honey, come sit here. I'll abduct you while we're doing this.
Yeah, you got to wonder, what is that? What is going on there?
Yeah, no doubt.
That's the freaky stuff. All right. Number 32, Rip Sniffles. Poor Sniffles. My cat used to visit me after he passed away, and I could see him move in the corner of my eye, just at the edge of my vision, or I could feel his head pressing against my chin like he used to. This went on for years and basically stopped when we moved. I miss him. Oh, they didn't leave Mr. Sniffles, did they?
Oh, well,
Dang it.
Mr. Sniffles didn't go with him.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'm pretty sure he's got a new family, though.
He's snuggling with somebody else now.
Does your pet stare at corners for obscene hours?
Yeah. Oof. Number 31, looking for a sign.
Everywhere a sign.
Not me, but a friend of mine.
Right.
He's a Christian, but there was a time in his life when he was doubting his faith. One night he was in the kitchen and fell to his knees asking for a sign. When he looked up at the on the lock on the microwave, he saw the time was 16:04, and he couldn't get the name Matthew out of his head. So he picked up his Bible and goes to Matthew 16, verse 4, thinking it would be some profound message or something. And instead it said, "A wicked and adulterous generation looks for a sign, but none will be given."
Oh, my.
Oof.
Oh, my.
Oof. That's not good. That's not a good sign at all. Repent.
A wicked and adulterous generation looks for signs, but none will be given.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not the kind of sign I don't think he was looking for.
I deny that generation. I'm not part of them. No. I may have been born right in the middle of it, but I deny them.
Number 33, whose dog is this anyway? One day I came home from work and I snuggled up with my dog, pet him, and decided to take him on our favorite walk. I literally fell asleep with him on top of me that night, and I woke up the next morning and I couldn't find him anywhere. I called my parents, who live practically next door, in a panic, and apparently, while I'd been at work that day, they'd taken him to their house. They forgot to return him, and my dog had been with them all evening/night. So what dog did I spend that time with?
Well, maybe the dog was thinking, gosh, I wish they'd let me just go home so I could snuggle with my human.
Yeah, just astral projected.
And just, hey, I figured it out.
Yeah,
my name is Doug.
Yeah. Squirrel. There you go.
I'll stick with the I Ching Book of Changes. Yes, yeah, that's...
Well, That's Creepy is next. When I was about 9, I went on vacation with my family to a seaside town in the next state over. None of us had ever been there before, and we had been having such a great time exploring the beach and the town. We stopped at an ice cream shop and were enjoying ourselves when my dad noticed a picture on the wall. It was my older brother and I enjoying ice cream in that same shop, only in this photo, we were the same age, about 3 years old. My brother is 4 years older than me, so there was no way we could have looked at the same age when I was 3. The creepy part that made us all certain it was us was that I had a very distinctive blonde streak in my dark hair, as well as dimples, and so did this girl.
Wow.
Ooh, that's weird. Thank you, Naysay. Naysay says, please pay attention to the full moon rise and set. Utilize stationary markers at the horizon synchronized with the greater cycles full moon this Sunday. Gotcha. Hi, Natalie UK. Good to see you. All right, so very wild. How did they have a picture? Who knows?
Don't know. I was watching that stupid movie, Land of the Lost, with Will Ferrell last night, and the movie starts off on the premise that he found a way to shift dimensions and blah blah blah. But if anybody's ever seen the movie, they know that one of the female lead character comes with a piece of rock that's got like a Zippo type lighter. That was obviously, it wasn't there, but the impression was there. And then, of course, when he goes back in time, he drops his lighter and it gets, crushed into the rock and stuff. So, that's another question, though. I mean, back to the question of the week. Could it be due to dimension shifting beings?
Sure. I mean, why not, right?
Why not, yeah.
Could be any number of reasons. It's just a strange phenomena. Just so strange. Number 35, I Want to Believe. All right. It says, driving from Northern California to Southern California through the middle of the night, I was tired. And the scenery along the freeway through the Central Valley isn't very interesting. I remember passing an old silo, looking at my car clock, and it was 3:17 in the morning. Drove some more, passed a power line, and it was 3:21. I blinked, shuffled in my seat, and passed that same old silo, and it was back to 3:17. Oh, man, that's brutal. I was in disbelief. I just stared at my clock for a few moments, drove a little bit more, passed the same power line at 3:21. I don't know why or how, but I went backwards about 4 minutes. Never experienced anything similar before or since.
Time keeps on slipping.
It really does, yeah. Yep. Very weird. Time slips are very bizarre. I don't know.
That would suck, though, to have to redrive that same 4 minutes.
What if that's like a gateway for a Mandela effect? Like it wasn't exactly perfect timing.
Oh, right.
But he just slipped into a different universe at that point.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you were driving through that storm that one time.
Right.
Maybe you weren't supposed to be in this timeline.
Maybe I wasn't, or maybe I was. I was in the wrong one before.
Well, maybe, yeah. Maybe you were in the wrong one
Maybe
before.
it was a correction. Yeah.
There you go. That might have been it, yeah.
It could be. Yeah, that's very interesting.
The Adjustment Bureau. Well, we've got to correct this. Hold on a second.
Yeah. What's this guy doing here? What the hell? No.
Man in hats.
Yeah. We can dance if we want to.
Wait, this guy.
All right.
S-S-S-A-A-A.
Yeah. All right, number 36, an absolute nightmare. I fell asleep on the couch and got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. When I got there, I realized I didn't have to go. I went back downstairs to the couch. When I got there, I saw my body still asleep,
Oh my.
curled up on the sofa. I don't remember what happened after, and I know it had to have just been a dream, but it still freaks me out to this day to think about it.
That explains why you had an empty bladder.
What? Yeah, maybe it's
It's still sitting on the couch.
it's in the couch cushion. He was astral projecting. I gotta pee.
Yeah.
No, I
don't. I
don't.
wonder how many people actually that happens to. I mean, you have these, you're like, don't dream you're in the bathroom. If you're in the bathroom, wake
Oh,
up,
God.
wake up,
Yeah,
right?
that's
But what if like you're actually
dangerous.
astral projecting yourself? You
Yeah.
know, your body's saying, I gotta pee, and your brain's saying, I don't want to wake up.
Or I can't wake up.
Wow,
Let's
I can't wake
and
up,
then
yeah.
the consciousness just goes, I gotta go now, and just heads over there. Yeah.
And then you just wake up really warm.
You just what's that warm feeling? It's so cuddly.
Oh no!
It's the most disgusting thing ever.
I tainted my pillow.
Yeah, no doubt. Tainted the sheets. All right, freaks me out too. I woke up in the bath at a very specific time. Woke up in the bath? Okay.
Wow.
Like 5:45, twice, 10 years in between. Water was getting cold. I was naked. No memory of getting there. Some fragments of like seeing my own hand turning on the tap. No drugs or alcohol or even medication involved. The worst thing was the fear. When I woke up, I felt an inexplicable, almost primordial dread. Lasted for hours. I was shaking, couldn't function. Still freaks me out thinking about it.
It's kind of like the day I blacked out.
Yeah?
So it was an accident.
Mm-hmm.
Well, drinking the sake wasn't an accident. What was an accident was taking the Flexerol. That was a total accident.
Yeah.
And I blacked out watching X-Files with my brother and Paisley. And it was weird because I woke up in the morning and I'm like, how am I in my bed? I was watching X-Files with my brother and Paisley. I'm in my bed, naked, and I don't remember doing anything that night.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. And yeah, it was kind of, I was scared. I was like, because at first it's like, where am I? And then I realized, the room I had at the time had this really weird colored ceiling. And so I was like, okay, I'm in my room. Is that the dance of the pink elephants?
Tainted love. Oh, tainted love.
Oh no! Now you're doing
Don't touch me, please. I cannot stand the way you tease.
it. Oh boy!
Tainted love. Sorry, I couldn't resist it.
No, Jake. I'm not gonna. No, Jake.
What?
Nobody can see that but us, Jake.
Oh. That's not going to get shown.
Oh,
never
he
mind.
just got shown.
Never mind.
Damn it! Somebody undermined.
Somebody's going to lose a wrench. All right. What are the odds? Number 38. I was walking down a busy street in Dublin on my way to work, and I bumped into a guy who was the bouncer at a club I used to go to. We both stopped, looked at each other, and said, "What the heck are you doing here?"
Right.
At the same time. That was over 20 years ago. I'm back in my home country now, and not long after I moved into my new place, I bumped into him. He lives a couple of streets away from my place.
Wow.
That's just a small world kind of thing, though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's not necessarily paranormal. All right, help on the road. I was on my way to work quite early one morning, and I hadn't slept well the night before, so as I came to cross the road, next thing I know, just as I was about to cross the road, I felt like I'd walked into a tall wall.
Huh.
I literally felt it stop me instantly. It didn't hurt. It was soft but firm feeling. A split second later, a car raced past me
Wow.
at around 50 miles per hour, and the wheels were only a few inches from running over my feet.
Wow.
I felt like I was definitely saved that day, but I have no explanation for this barrier that stopped me.
That's really cool.
That's divine intervention right there. That's really cool. Guardian angel, probably, yeah?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's looking out. What was this one? Dream come true.
Like the bathroom.
That's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's a bed-filling prophecy.
Yeah. I had a short, lucid dream,
Speaking of.
and the scene happened in real life a few days later.
Ah.
I am 200% sure about it because I kept the diary of my dreams, and it matched perfectly. That's called a premonition or
Yeah.
precognition. The dreamer, like Edgar Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 41, second grade superpowers. When I was in second grade, I was getting the mail, and when I picked out a letter for me, I got a flash of this lady who I'd never seen before, and I was like, okay, whatever. Turned out it was an image of my second grade teacher before I even met her on the first day of school, wearing the exact clothes I pictured. The letter was a welcome to class letter from her.
Wow.
Wow, that's cool.
That's precognition. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is.
That is. Number 42 is small. It's a small world. I might as well just finish this article because we're getting to the tail end of it here. I think I was sitting in the United States, tens of thousands of miles from home. Is that
Tens
possible?
of thousands.
Is that possible?
Not unless you're doing a Z formation. Zigzag, zigzag.
Walking along the beach and heard someone call out from the terrace of this cafe. It was my former boss from back in my own country. My mind can't even begin to calculate the unlikeliness of that.
Well, tens of thousands of miles away.
Yeah, well, she could have been from somewhere else.
Tens of thousands of miles. It's not even 100,000 miles around the Earth.
No, I'm sure not. It's like, I don't know how many.
You would have to go all the way around the equator, then over the poles, and then back around to wherever the hell she was.
With a few zigzags here thrown in. Yeah.
Serpentine pattern, serpentine pattern.
Hairpin turns. All right. Who are you, number 43? I was chilling in a cafe several years ago when someone I had never seen before walked in. He came up to me and asked, "Are you my first name, my full name?" I said, "Yeah." He nodded and then walked out of the store, and I never saw him again. To this day, I don't know who that was or how he knew who I was.
Was he serving karma?
or the CIA.
Right. Is your name Dan Aykroyd? Well, of course it is.
Yeah.
No, it's Elwood.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Number 44, predicting the future. When I was about 10 years old, I had a pretty scary dream. In this dream, my mom drowned in quicksand, and my little brother jumped in to save her. In the process, he broke his arm. The next day, my little brother broke his arm. No quicksand involved, and my mom was never in danger in real life, but still, I was super freaked out by the fact that I had dreamt about my little brother's injury literally the night before. To this day, when I think about it, it gives me chills.
Sure.
Yeah. Another little bit of psychic information, maybe.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Not really noteworthy, but being at the apartments and doing work for school, only to receive a text to be told that my online assignment had 4 wrong answers, just out of the blue. No contact ID or anything. I began to slightly panic and do a virus checks and other safety measures. I saved my files to my cloud, reset my computer for safety, and to this day I run a VPN and antivirus. For someone to look at what you're doing and to just say something in a text makes second guess how safe you are on the internet. Well,
Wow,
yeah, I don't think you ever should feel really safe on the internet. It's more of an implied safety.
Those are the wrong answers, dummy.
You got 4 wrong so far. Fix it.
Tell me the answers and then I'll let you go.
Who are you? Your
Wrong
tutor.
question, dummy.
Your tutor.
You're John Tudor.
Yeah, John Tudor.
John Tudor, whatever.
Number 46, scene double. When I was a freshman in high school, we had a pair of new students who were twins.
Well,
I remember both of them because while they were twins, they had a slight differences, so I could tell them apart. Anyway, a few years after high school, I get a friend request from one of them. I was looking at her Facebook randomly one day, looking at her pictures, and didn't see any of her sister, which I thought was odd. And I mentioned it to my friend, and she looked at me strangely and said she doesn't have a twin. I asked another couple of people who went to high school with, and they all said the same thing. I have no idea what happened, and it still baffles me.
wow. That's why you could tell them apart. One was alive, one was not.
Yeah, exactly.
Big difference there.
Maybe
That
that's
might
a
be the
good point.
difference, yeah.
Maybe he was getting a psychic impression of a
Yeah.
second person.
Maybe she had a parasitic twin.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you know that sometimes... Hey, do you know?
I don't know.
And sometimes... not just parasitic, but there could be twin embryos, and not necessarily one absorbs the other, but the other one dies and dissolves away.
Yeah.
So, you still, is there still a spirit there? Is there still a soul that is imprinted into the psyche of the other that may or may not realize it's there, and then things like this happen?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a great possibility, I guess. I don't know. It's a pretty pretty loaded description, but it's I mean, it would make sense. I mean, if there was or was he Mandela out of the reality with twins?
Yeah, maybe he was.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe the twins were.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe one of the twins was.
Yeah.
Sucked out. Look, you're done here.
Hey, Haxer, how are you?
Hey, good to see you.
here.
Good to see you. I was just thinking of the barreled cream today.
Oh, yeah.
I really was.
How
I was
can you not think of that?
I know, the barreled cream. I was just thinking of it today. I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. Anyway, good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping in.
I believe I saw a picture that he posted with candy corn. He was steeping candy corn in alcohol.
Oh, wow.
Brother, what are you doing?
He's a scientist. That man is a mixologist.
Look, that's the wrong kind of corn to make mash with, okay? Doesn't work that way.
It's not moonshine? No? Okay. All right. Let's continue on number 47. Not creepy, just a creep. I once caught my neighbor staring at me outside my bedroom window jeez, while I was straightening my hair with no trousers on. And I immediately ducked under my window pane as soon as I saw him. He was legit stood in this alleyway that connects the street's back gardens, arms crossed, and there for at least 15 more minutes, just staring through my window. Oh, God. I even got a picture of it. Pretty sure I was 15. Ugh. That's just not the way to behave. Oh, that's all kinds of creepy. All right, number 48. This has ghosts written all over it.
Huh?
Worked as a tour guide in an old 18th century mansion, and lots of unexplained things would happen quite regularly. This one time, while I was with some guests in the former ballroom, a little boy asked his mom, "Mommy, why are all those children crying upstairs?" Of course, nobody else could hear it, but above us would have been the old nursery, where 2 young girls died in the 19th century. Nursery was on the 3rd floor, and the entire level just had a strange vibe to it. Still gives me the creeps thinking about it. Wow. Yeah, that's weird. Why do they always use these in different pictures of these girls? It's like none of them seem real happy to have their picture taken. Oh, this is a different one. Number 49, don't drink and drive. I was about 10 and saw my grandmother standing at the front door looking outside. She was talking to my dad, and I couldn't see my dad's face, but he was shirtless. He had a very distinct mole in the middle of the back of his back, so I knew it was him. He was mumbling something, and I couldn't understand. My grandmother was telling him something along the lines of, "If you love them so much, why did you go and do this?" My mom wasn't there to see this because she had left moments before after getting a call letting her know my dad had been driving drunk and hit a mule on the highway. Oh. He was in the hospital clinging to life.
Wow.
Wow. Well, that's all kinds of weird.
Grandma was reprimanding him right there.
Right. Wow.
How could you have gone and done this? Wow.
Yeah. So she was a ghost too?
No, my grandma was standing in the front looking outside. She was talking to my dad.
Yeah, but the dad was in the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. Grandma was talking to the dad.
But
reprimanding him.
Right, but he was
visiting.
Oh, his spirit was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe she scared him back into his body. You get back in your body and you take care of this family.
Well, that's interesting because that kind of stuff does actually happen. We had a dear friend of the show. She hasn't been around for quite a while, but she had her and her husband had been leasing farmland from another guy, and they were having trouble with their calves and stuff, and they were having all kinds of issues. But she had this guy, the landowner, stop over one day and sit down, and she said, "Oh, hey, do you want a beer?" And he said, "Sure." And she put a beer down in front of him, and they sat and talked for quite a long time. And he finally said, he's talking about farming and giving her advice and stuff. And then he said, "Well, gotta go." Or he said, or she said, "Let me go see if so-and-so's done, and out of the shower or whatever." So she went in and said, "Hey, so-and-so's here," to the hubby. And he said, "What?" And she said, "Yeah, so-and-so's here." And she said, "No, that's not possible." And she's like, "What do you mean?" He was in the hospital in a coma.
Yeah.
But he had come and visited her. And she said, it was really weird, but I just realized then he never did touch that beer.
Right.
But he sat there with her.
Yep.
And I guess he pulled through, but he came and had a discussion with her. So very unusual.
Okay.
Very unusual stuff.
I have to report on this.
Yeah.
Hacker says, let me explain the candy corn vodka. He says, get your martini glass, 1.5 ounces of candy corn infused vodka, then drizzle down the side and make that a new layer and make a darker orange, and then top it with double cream spuma. So it's a candy corn martini.
Gotcha.
It's a candy corn martini that looks like candy corn. That still sounds disgusting.
Might be delicious. I don't know. Don't hate it till you try it.
Well, I had my first Moscow Mule the other day, so I can't say anything about it because I never liked vodka until just the other day.
All right, number 50, pay it forward. I was driving down a freeway in a big city after work, and my car stalled in the left lane. Some guy immediately came up and offered to tow me to the next off-ramp with a tow strap. He dropped me off, and I tried giving him some money, and he declined, telling me to instead do something nice for someone else. For something else, but for someone else, I think. A week later, there was a rare downpour as I got in my car after work. Two scruffy-looking guys come running up to me, and one said, "Hey, brother, we missed our bus." He wanted to know if I could give them the two of them a ride, which is not the best part of town, and I wouldn't have been inclined to let them in, but I remembered what the Good Samaritan had told me. Pay it forward. Right. Okay. I said, hop in.
Uh-oh.
After a while, we got to an exit where they asked to be let off, and it was the same exact spot in a city of millions of people where the other guy had unhitched my car from his truck and told me to do something nice for someone else.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's definitely a sign.
Yep, Late Night Visitor Part 2. Okay. I don't know where Part 1 is, but we'll start with Part 2. When I was 5 years old, my mom opened the door to two cops who were telling her that her daughter, me, was outside alone in spring with only a t-shirt and shorts at 1 a.m.-ish. She told the cops it cannot be true. I'm in her bed right now. She comes to get me, and we go to the entry, and the two cops said that the little girl knew where she's living, and that's her, who said she was living at my house. The two cops then look at me, creep out, and ask my name, and I have a very unique name, and the cops took the little girl to show my mother that it wasn't a joke of some sort. The little girl entered and ran to my mom, yelling, "Mommy, Mommy, it's me, Lily." The name is Livia. I don't know how the heck she knew my name and made a nickname with. I believe she heard the cops asking me questions. Then I started to cry, and eventually the cops left with the little girl.
That's creepy.
Wow. Yikes.
That's creepy.
That's insanely creepy. Wow. What about that poor girl? I mean, what the hell's going on?
Black-eyed kids.
Right. Maybe. I don't know.
Can we come in? No.
That's a head scratcher. What would you do?
Yeah.
What would you do, Don? Somebody came in, let's say you have a daughter, and they come in with another daughter, and she's like, Daddy, it's me. Let me in. Let me come in. I mean, what would you do? Right. I mean, I don't know either.
Other than poop myself?
Yeah.
No clue.
No idea.
No clue.
No idea either. Number 52, high stakes. I had a schnauzer that could hear a cat stalk across a Persian rug. She made a great tent companion while on backpacking trips. Bears, raccoons, skunks would all get fair warning if they came within range of our campsite. One morning we woke up from the night without interruptions in the backcountry of southwest Colorado, and I found my tent's central guy line was no longer staked down by the aluminum stake that had been used, but instead by a piece of aspen branch that had been carved into what looked like a tiki statue. A snarling face with teeth had been carved from the bark, and it had obviously been heated in a fire to give it a brown color. My dog didn't make a sound. I scrambled out of the tent, looked around the small alpine lake, and saw no other campers nor any sign that people had been around. I cut my trip short and hauled ass to the 8 miles back to my car. Not a single other car in the lot at the trailhead. Yeah, that's creepy. Not good. Number 53, listening ear. A few years ago, I thought this was almost done. It's still going on. This might be the last one we'll read. It might be one of those articles that just continues expanding as you scroll.
I think there's only 2 more left.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me just look here. No, there's
a few more.
A few more left. I'm going to read this one and then we'll be done. A few years ago, I was at my lowest point in life. I just couldn't imagine waking up another day, so I'd planned to take myself out and bought a one-way plane ticket, got sleeping pills. On the day I was to fly out to fulfill my plan, there was an accident on the freeway to the airport. I was shut down both ways. It was shut down both ways, so I drive to a nearby pub and wait out the traffic. The second I sat on the patio with my drink, a gentleman asked if he could sit with me. He said that he sensed that I was in pain, but that I had an incredible life ahead of me, and that this was not the way my story was supposed to end. I poured my heart out to this random guy. He told me it was going to be okay tomorrow, and I believed him, and I never saw him again. I don't even know his name, but I think about that guy every day. So thank you, kind stranger, for saving my life that random September day.
Did he look like, God, what's that guy's name?
I don't know.
Sam Elliott.
I don't know. But we did read a story very, very similar to that had to do with a guy that was planning to go take himself out as well. And he saw this woman, this beautiful woman sitting at a cafe where he went to sit and have coffee before. And she was crying. And so he just thought he'd talk to her and started talking to her and saying, hey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And she finally steered the conversation back to him at the end. And then he said, well, I'd like to stay in touch with you. And he wrote his number down and gave it to her, but she left it and then apparently just disappeared. Walked 20 feet away and was just gone. He couldn't find her. And he went into therapy after that and became a therapist himself and devoted his life to it, but he thinks it was his guardian angel. So very similar story. So maybe there's a whole bunch of them that kind of hang out looking for those very sad people and try to give them hope. That's a beautiful possibility.
Sure enough.
Yep. Jake, we're not in TFR tonight, buddy. I'm not even in the TFR chat, so there's no going over to TFR.
Why don't you write an email?
Yeah, write an email, buddy.
paranormalportalradio@gmail.com.
Yes, I know Jake's got the address because he's emailed me.
Oh, well, good.
Yep. So, okay, we're going to drop this article here, and we will continue with some other strangeness. Let's see, what time is it?
Android, no, because when Dave Pilates read it on his podcast, I got MIB visitors, so I put it online instead to be safe. What? What are you talking about, Lily Pond?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but we have trouble with MIBs too. So, but
we had trouble one night. We got knocked off the air.
And it was just really weird. It was
really weird. Yeah, there's a soundbite to that somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere I can find it.
Yeah, I think maybe I even have it here. Should we play it?
If you really want to.
I don't know. Do you think?
Yeah, sure.
I can look for it. See if we can find it.
Let's see. It was just the weirdest night. We were talking about MIBs, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it really was.
And we were getting on to the end of the night, and this is before we were on YouTube. We were still doing the TFR, and so it was really weird. But we got knocked off, then we reconnected, and all this weird looping stuff happened, and it looped in something from a show that wasn't even playing, because it looped in Deb Varner. Remember?
Yeah, it was strange.
And she wasn't even on the show that night.
No.
It was just weird.
Where is that one?
I don't know.
I thought it would be in... Yeah. I think it was... We played it during the Parathon, but...
we might have, but I still don't have it on this computer.
No, I know. I'm just going to see if I can find it quick, because... what would it have been under?
Was it on the Parathon?
Well, I have a Parathon folder.
God, that was 8 hours of just pure nuttiness.
Right, but it was just a clip. Yeah, that was 8 hour stream. That was a long stream. That's like a whole long format. We did the Parathon.
Ain't interested in doing it again.
No, I don't think I am either. That was a long show.
One of Deb's leftover guides. Maybe. But it was just crazy because I think we even mentioned Dan Aykroyd and a couple other ones too as well. So
Yeah, I'm just looking
crazy.
to see if I can find.
Night Farm.
Good night, Farm. Take care of yourself, brother.
Did you just flashy thingy me? Sorry.
What?
Nothing. Keep going.
No.
Yeah. So but it was just wild.
I don't know. I don't know where to find it now. I'm sorry. It's just one of those things. I don't think I can find it anymore.
How about 100 episode loop? Can you search for that?
I don't know.
100 episode loop.
You mean, is that the name of the file?
Maybe.
Did we do it on the 100?
We did. We did it on the 100th show because Lucky was like, that was the most annoying thing I'd ever heard.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
So if you have a copy of the 100,
Maybe
it's in there somewhere.
Maybe did I do a folder for the 100th episode? Maybe I did. Hold on. I'm looking, folks. Sorry. This is kind of a curveball of sorts. But, blah, blah, blah.
We'll have to look out for it later.
Yeah. Is it sound files? Would it be in here? No, that's other ones. Sound file here. No, that's a Demon Scream. We played that last time. Parathon. I don't know. It's here somewhere. I'll dig up this stuff and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll probably cover your story on Friday, Jake. So we can get to some more stuff here. But yeah, thank you for sending in the story. I appreciate that a lot. But yeah, I'd like to get stuff
Lily
as much
Pond's
as we
little-
can before the show
Lily
actually starts.
Pond's little person she saw on property in Discord. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cryptid chat 924. Okay.
All right, so we're going to go to some Phantoms and Monsters reports here. And these are, of course, Lon Strickler's site. We talk about it all the time. Definitely check it out. You can check out his podcast as well there, Phantoms and Monsters Radio, as well as his books and plenty of articles here. But the first article we're going to talk about is Not Deer or Shape-Shifting Coyote. Bizarre Encounter in Central Texas. So those of you from Texas, just be careful. And let's see what it says. A Central Texas resident is walking the rural countryside with his dog when he suddenly encounters two large coyotes crossing the road. What occurs afterwards is quite unexplained. So this happened a week or so ago, and I can't stop thinking about it. My family is a small farmstead in more or less the middle of nowhere, Central Texas, to the southeast of Austin. But very rural, all dirt roads, only a couple of neighbors within a mile or so. I usually walk with my dog in the thick woods on our property, but sometimes we walk along the dirt roads because it's like we have them to ourselves. Maybe 5 to 6 cars will pass by our place on the country road in the course of a given day. We were walking along the dirt road back home when we heard something crash in the woods off to our left. I looked closely but didn't see anything and just figured it was an animal or a branch falling. No big deal. A few more steps and 2 coyotes burst out of the woods and crossed the road right in front of us. This is weird because it's late in the day for coyotes to be active, but more so because they look huge for coyotes, almost like wolf size. We don't have wolves here anymore. And one of them looks kind of hunched over like it's hurt or it's a bipedal animal loping along on all fours for some reason. Note, and this comes into play in a second, that I saw absolutely no antlers or anything. My dog starts to act out of character and says, okay, so these big, possibly injured coyotes run into the brush on the other side of the road. My dog and I kind of stand there for a bit and then move on. It's the country and there are coyotes, whatever. We round a corner and here comes one of the coyotes crossing the road again, fast. It scoots under the fence and I watch it run across the pasture past some cattle who are totally unbothered by this big predator running by them. I call my dog back to me because I know the second one is probably about to pop out and I don't want her getting into a fight that she'd lose. Here's where it gets a little weird. Sure enough, out runs the second one. It's the hunched over and injured looking one. It hits the fence line where there's a bit of low scrubby brush. I wait for it to pop out on the other side and start watching to see how these cows are going to react, but it doesn't come out. It just kind of disappears into the tiny patch of brush. which doesn't seem at all big or dense enough to conceal it. We're slowly moved closer to the fence/brush to see if this coyote is hurt or hung up in the fence or something. And all of a sudden, one of the biggest, most majestic bucks, male deer I've seen around here, pops out of this fence line and runs into the field. His antlers are huge. He's a big boy, taller and more muscular than most of our central Texas deer. He runs along a bit and then turns and watches us. We get closer to the fence to see what was up with this coyote. There was no coyote, and absolutely nowhere a coyote could have hid. This deer is still watching us, and I don't know what to do, so I just shout, "Good morning," and say something like, "We mean you no harm." And we walked home. So yeah, big injured coyote kind of morphed into a big healthy buck, more or less before my very eyes, and I guess it was probably a deer all along, slumped down and slinking fast away from a coyote, but that's weird because, A, I saw the coyote twice, and it definitely looked like a coyote, and it definitely had no antlers. A big buck isn't going to run away from a lone coyote. Things are crazy out here in the sticks sometimes, even in the middle of the day. So that there are, of course, the legends of the skinwalkers, but there's also shamanic traditions of shapeshifters that aren't necessarily skinwalkers in that, not all of the transformations were born of an evil character. They were these shamans that could allegedly shapeshift as well.
Right.
So perhaps it wasn't evil at all. It was just one of them. I don't know. I mean, it's just a guess, but I mean, if this is indeed a legitimate story, what do you make of that? What do you think, Don?
I don't know. We talk about the shapeshifters and the what's the other one? Skinwalkers.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that might be, but they didn't really central Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, it's one of those one-off stories that's kind of hard to know what to do with.
Quantify,
now.
Yeah.
Right. Did this area have a history of that?
Right.
Is there more sightings such as this in that area? I don't know. It didn't seem at all perplexed to let them see that, hey, something was going on.
Right.
So whatever the case is, I don't know. Very strange. But a weird story nonetheless. That's the first up from Phantoms and Monsters. The next one up is reported Yowie and Bigfoot encounters and experiences. I love that snuffy nose. Ugh. All right. Reported Bigfoot and Yowie encounters and experiences. Several Bigfoot and Yowie encounters reports offered recently. Some are harrowing accounts. Have you ever had an encounter? Feel free to contact me or email or call. Thanks, Lon.
Thanks, Brent.
Yeah, I can't steal Lon's thunder like that on his own material. I believe I encountered a Sasquatch group of 4 last summer, 2021, while camping in Twin Rivers Beach, Washington. I felt like they were a family, and I could hear them walking across the beach while I was camping from within my tent. They covered about 80 feet and about 20 steps. The largest got within a few feet of my tent. I recorded them. I could hear a very low frequency that they were using to communicate, and I'm not sure if you can hear it in the recording or and would love to get that wave file to someone who could better analyze it. There were 4 beings, and they were walking on 2 feet. I could clearly hear the differences in their size and distance from where I was. There are a bunch of flat stones on the beach, and that this made it difficult or impossible for them to walk across the beach without making a noise. Based on the sound of their footsteps is why I believe this was a family of 4. There was a very large one bringing up the front, a younger one, and was a second to the smallest, and the third was a little one that was walking just in front of the second largest one, which was bringing up the rear of the pack. And that's the end of that story. That was by GS. Next one is 4 years ago, 2017, I believe, I had this experience. I actually thought I was crazy and hallucinating. We're on the highway in Victoria. It was dark, and we're driving back from New South Wales, where we were close to Seymour, probably 25 minutes away, and I saw this huge gorilla running in the bushes. I was so scared. At first, I didn't tell my partner. I was embarrassed because I've always got something weird to say. And I thought this was maybe from the long drive, and I could see the trees moving as they ran. I kept thinking this is impossible. My husband realized I was acting strange, and he asked if I was okay. I told him there was a gorilla-like thing chasing us, but still no cars around. As we got closer to Seymour, it stopped chasing. I really thought I hallucinated because there were no gorillas in the Australian bush. I've even told friends and family about this weird experience, but now I feel some relief because I might not be crazy after all. I'm Aussie and didn't know about the Yowie. DM. Yeah, there's a version of gorillas there. Next one. I'm an ex-pro shooter by trade. Feral animal species only. In 2004, I encountered and chased a Yowie, approximately 7+ feet tall, out the back of Gresford in lower New England region of New South Wales. No mistaking this encounter as it broke from the bush literally only a few feet from where I was standing, and gave chase. It was freaking big, very fast, and bulldozed through the scrub and brush like it wasn't even there. I chased it into a dead-end washout, but wasn't going in after it, and sure as hell wasn't going to shoot it as it did nothing to me, and figure it had a right to be there as much as anyone else or anything else. Besides, it would have felt more like shooting another human being as opposed to some wild feral animal. I'm happy to discuss this encounter and other experience in the bush, including my 14 years in Cape York with the little people, etc. Yes, all these things really do exist. I'd love to talk to this person.
No doubt.
That sounds like a wonderful bunch of stories. This one is the last one. 50 years ago in 1972.
That was 52 years ago.
This is 50.
50 years ago in 1972 was 52 years ago.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, no, I guess you're right. Nope.
No, okay.
50 years ago. So this is a new one.
Yep. I drove my girlfriend out into the country on a dark night in northern Indiana to a spot that I had passed before. It was a clearing in the thick woods of the south side of the Wabash River, east of Logansport. It was a moonless night with pitch black darkness out in the woods. I pulled into the spot and parked. We got out and I laid out a blanket. We didn't even have a moment to sit down when we heard something huge and aggressive crashing through the trees and thick underbrush directly towards us. It sounded like it was making a grunting or growling noise. Crash, 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 crash. I grabbed the blanket, ran into the car, and sped off. We left there in shock and never spoke about the incident. Well, I completely forgot that it had happened until about 5 years later. I heard 2 different news stories at the same time about 3 people reporting a 7 to 9 foot tall, hairy creature walking upright in the area. That sparked my memory. Now, I've since Googled Bigfoot in Wabash River Valley and found that there have been numerous documented sightings there since the early 1800s. Many have reported aggressive territorial behavior. Yeah, that's not the kind of squatches you want to be messing with. Yikes. What do you think of those reports?
I really like them.
Yeah.
I always like these first-hand one-offs most of the time.
Yeah, I do too.
Because it's a fresh. Sometimes it's fresh. Like the guy, I was chasing it. No, you weren't. You were not chasing a Yowie. You weren't chasing a Bigfoot because they wouldn't let you chase them.
You never keep up.
No, well, I don't think you'd keep up, and I think you'd be too frightened actually to actually go about doing it. You've got to have a certain set of balls to actually have. Oh, I'm not scared, and literally not be scared, and go through with it. But even people like me who see bear all the time. Every time a bear walks through my yard, I get nervous about it.
Sure.
So whatever.
Well, I think
but
you're
I
right.
don't go chasing the bear, even though I know the bear is more scared of me than I am of him.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because there are people obviously that have seen them.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, if this is an initial first time seeing,
Yeah.
that's. I mean, the impact of that has just got to be so profound. Like,
and there's so many things they could do that would be just deterrence.
Yeah.
Unless you're just like too stupid.
Well,
Yeah.
there's plenty of that going around too.
That's true too. Yeah. There's not an abundance of brains in this world anymore.
I don't know. I think you could be right. It seems pretty scary sometimes. But yeah, that's I think a great collection of stories. Yeah, every one of them, I don't doubt, happened just as it was reported. Nothing is reported that's out of the ordinary. That we haven't heard hundreds of other times from other reports. That's what I like about these kind of reports, is because it does give a consistency of information a lot of times that helps you establish a behavior,
right?
At least rudimentarily.
Right.
There's behaviors that are established just from anecdotal evidence,
right?
So we can get a little bit into insight into how these things work, at least by what people have observed. Short of being able to study and research them ourselves.
Natalie UK says, I don't know. People have died for doing something stupid. Well, yeah. That's true.
Yep, the Darwin Awards.
Yep. Congratulations, you won a Darwin. Of course, you're not allowed. You'll get it posthumously.
Yep.
And it's not. I didn't say humorously. It's posthumously.
Posthumously. Yep. There you go. So that's a good collection of reports. Let's see where we're at with the time here. 10 minutes left.
Hacker says, sure, Natalie, I just don't want to be one of the stupid deaths. Yeah.
I think I got time for this one. This is Humanoids, Demonic Things, recently seen in Red Pheasant Cree Nation, Saskatchewan.
Huh.
This is up in Canada.
Canada.
This is a Canadian story.
Where it's about?
It's about to be right here on the portal.
Oh, boy.
A bizarre series of sightings have occurred at the Red Pheasant Cree Nation, Plains Cree First Nations band government, in the Canadian province of Saskatchewan. On the Facebook profile of Jeffrey Michenses, sorry, I'm brutalizing that, 2 photos of unknown humanoids have been posted. There is also a video of a humanoid walking at another location, and there's also a suggestion in the comments that the elders and medicine people conduct ceremonies in order to rid themselves of these demonic things. The locations of concern seem to be the community center where the humanoid was seen, on the roof, and at the local high school. A relative named Madeline also stated, a couple of years back I had a dream/vision. These black demonic figures, exactly what's in this picture, were descending down into the Ochias First Nation. And they also had black wings, and as they were descending down, the whole reserve was covered in black fog/cloud. In my dream vision, I was terrified seeing this. I ran to the family telling them and gathered family. My interpretation of this dream vision is that too many bad things going on reserve, the drugs, the deaths, everything that has no negative stuff in life. Time to bring the elders and the community together to fight together, to bring light and positive to the people and the home fires of our culture, to fight off these demonic things as they are trying stronger by the day, feeding off the people that are stuck in addictions and hurting the ones they love. Mm-hmm. And families fight amongst one another. It got so powerful now that it's showing itself in daylight. Now that's the scary part, as well as all in the community. I thought I'd share it as it freaked me out. Seeing this picture in my dream hit me to recall what my dream was. I hope you hear what I write, as this is very concerning. And if nothing is done to fight these things, I pray for my community.
Right.
Is that the thing on the roof right there?
Maybe.
Creepy thing being spotted during the day now. This was yesterday. So scary. The video I seen yesterday scared me. LOL. WTF. My work has a juju. They said they watched it crawl under the shingles. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. We talk about, we had that one guy on the podcast long ago, and he was talking about addiction, and he had an attachment. Mm-hmm. Remember? Do you remember that? Oh, it was long ago.
I'm sure you're right, but
God, it was like 4 years ago. It's
okay.
longer.
It was so long ago, back in the days of old.
Yeah.
But he was talking about the addiction and how it felt like he had, his he had a spirit on his back or an attachment,
Yep.
and I think that's what they're referring to there.
Sure.
Is because in a lot of the culture, that culture now,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of drug use and alcoholism, and it's
Sure.
it's unfortunate, and so I could see, the idea of, something coming down,
Mm-hmm.
and infesting, these areas. So yeah, it's just, yeah. But anyhow, there you go.
Yeah, there certainly is many ways in which dark things can gain dominion over a place or a person, and one of which is certainly chemical use.
Right.
It's believed to make holes in the aura and cause you to have no resistance or very low resistance to their oppression
Right.
and their influence. So,
Right.
it's very, very scary stuff. And it's really sickening to think that there are things like this that might be out there just waiting to prey on people
Right.
that are too weak and damaged. And certainly in the state of affairs nowadays, there's a lot of damage going around.
Right.
And so it's not hard to believe that maybe these things are gaining some traction just with all the darkness and anger and hate and stuff that's being circulated by so many different things. But this is from Friday, September 30th. So it's a new article.
Right.
And it's certainly disconcerting. So that's one of the reasons we close these shows with be good, be kind, be nice, trying to just push out some positivity. I don't know if it matters or not, but it's just my way of trying to remind people that when you deal in darkness, when you deal in anger, when you deal in hate, you will create a focal point of yourself, and something will find you. I really believe that. And so that's the danger of it. So always try to remain good and spread love and do the best you can in this world. But that is ultra creepy. I hope they're able to pull together and get those things out of there.
Oh, there you go.
Scary stuff for sure. But I think that's going to kind of wrap it up, isn't it?
Yeah, you got 5 minutes left. Yeah.
5 minutes. I got 4 minutes.
5 minutes. Well, it may have changed.
4
Yep,
minutes.
there, 4 minutes. Yeah.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. See, yeah.
That's pretty darn good,
Time
I think.
flies when
I
you're
don't
in the
have time to
portal.
dig up another one, so
There you go.
there's not enough time to read another one, but we will be back on Friday nights. So I hope you'll join us then, and we'll have another question of the week. So if you're not in the Discord community, get in the Discord community.
What is he doing to come up with some of these questions? Some of these questions are like, wow.
They're he and I coming up with them.
Oh, so you guys like collaborate?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. We talk about them and decide what we're going to ask. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a part of the process. I'm involved a little, a bit. But, yeah. So, but anyway, watch for the podcast as well. Their new podcast is a great discussion we had with Stacy Brown Jr.,
Yep.
who is an incredible guy, and he's a documentarian and a Bigfoot researcher and just an all-around really cool guy.
Yeah,
We had a great conversation with him. So check that out, and check out the other recent ones from Phenomicon.
Yeah.
The Stacy Brown is the last of the Phenomicon interviews, and it was just really cool to have a chance to sit down and talk with the people we did.
Yep.
But there'll be a lot more coming, as always, so look for the Paranormal Portal podcast.
Speaking of the podcast, I think you need to talk to Lily Pond.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's a story that in Discord that would be interesting to have.
Okay, well, Lily Pond, I'll be talking to you, see if you want to appear on the podcast then. We love hearing firsthand reports. That's my all-time favorite. So if you've experienced stuff and you want to be a guest on the podcast, email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, and I'd love to talk to you. So is it possible to fix a hole in the aura? Yeah, and that's by healing.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of the darkness, in yourself. One of the things is by quitting using chemicals. If you're using chemicals, that's creating holes. Well, you quit using chemicals, you heal.
Well, and then there's also what's called shadow work,
Shadow work,
people are scared of because of the name, but it's really just working on your
Issues.
your issues, but we'll just leave it at issues.
Yeah.
So
It's just anytime you come from a broken place and you work to get healthy, you're healing your aura. You're becoming stronger.
Right.
Whether it's through faith, whether it's through having some awesome beliefs, good health is part of that. and being good to people is part of healing. You know, there's just so many things. It's just, you don't want to be dark. Don't be dark. Be good. And that's going to close out the show where I say, be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And we help you laugh a little bit every time you watch the shows, guys. So if you have any suggestions for questions of the week, send them over. I'd love to see what you guys would like us to ask and talk about in the discussions. So, but anyway, Don, anything in closing for you?
Just don't forget the podcast. This is not the podcast. The podcast is the podcast.
Yeah, this is their YouTube show. We have a podcast that's audio only.
Absolutely. And Teespring.
Teespring, of course.
Teespring.
Don't forget, you can get Paranormal Portal gear. And so look for the link in the description below. You'll find the Teespring link. And you should be seeing a shelf where there's some items there for purchase. But it helps us out a ton and helps to spread the word a ton, too. So love you guys a bunch. And I guess we'll see you on Friday night. So until then.
Good night.
Good night.